Today on Food Journey, we are taking one ingredient and turning it sideways with 3 recipes which are all brand new. Let's get ready to cook. Hello and welcome to the Food Journey kitchen today, where we are cooking with okra, or okra as it's pronounced here. I feel like it's one of these plant-based foods that you either like, love, or just don't like some people I know. Some of us have a few little issues with the unique texture. Okay, first of all, wrap your tongue around okra's scientific name. But you can call them ladies' fingers. And it comes from a flowering plant originating in Africa. It has a grassy sweet taste, but is also slimy when cooked in liquid that isn't acidic. And these are some to be found here. What I will be doing today is taking our local okra variety to create 3 opportunities for you to enjoy okra, playing with the texture and presenting some unique options which may just change your view of this very versatile little beauty. Let's start off with a Lagos City Gumbo, that's what I'm calling it. Okra without the slippery. Then stuffed okra with a crunchy twist. And finally, pickled okra, something new for your culinary notebook. It's always fun to have more than one objective when you're cooking, but also to be connected to the how. It makes the practicality so much easier. This is a quick overview of my cooking formula for this first dish. First, organize and separate all your raw ingredients. If you can see everything clean and available, it's a start. What needs to be pre-prepped and how? Does anything need to be pre-cooked? Steamed? What is your main flavor base? And what will you specifically build upon with your own touches of spice? And finally, what will your cooking sequence look like? It's called being organized. Now that I can see a clear picture, I can just relax, decide on my spices, accompaniments, and settle into the cooking. We're going to be using a double steamer here. And when I say double, it's just got 2 compartments for me to put my okra and my peppers in. So basically, couldn't be easier. Just need to fill water in here to about just over 1/4, so it doesn't all evaporate during the steam, and just assemble these 2 like that. And we're good to go to prepare the okra. Okay, let's have a look at the beautiful okra display here. These are our local varieties, and one thing you got to do when you get okra first after washing it is to check and see whether it's viable for use. Is it soft or is it hard? So as you cut through, you should be able to cut through with a knife easily like that. Okay. Some people like the ends left on. I take mine off for aesthetics, and I'm just cutting it in half. And you can see inside those beautiful seeds. Anytime you come across one that is hard, you'll know, because the knife will resist. It's always better to buy more okra than you need because of this. I'm pretty lucky this morning. Do you hear that? That slight resistance there, that means that this one is a little bit more tough. Let's move further in. We seem to have gotten beyond it. We can use that part. And then all of these go into our handy steamer. We are using garlic and a little salt as the only enhancement for these. For my sweet peppers, yellow, red, and green, all to be pre-steamed as well in a separate compartment to the okra. So now that these have all been cut, we're just laying them in here, just like that. Well, there are two blends which need to be had today, and the first one is a tomato blend. So I'm using, for ease, just some chopped tomato from a tin. I'm pouring in all of that into my processor, along with some garlic, more garlic, you could never have enough, and also some beautiful tatashe. So just opening this up like so, literally with my hands. My hands are clean, don't worry, all the time. Take out, knock out the few seeds there, and just literally tear it up. It's soft enough to do so, into the processor. Along with this, let's choose a beautiful chili. I'm not taking the seeds out of this. I'm literally cutting this into 4 pieces, and I'm using the whole thing. So that's one blend. All we need to do with this is cover it up and give it a blending. So there's our wet blend. Just going to have a look at our steamed items. That's going well. But I took it off because I think that the okra is quite soft enough now. There's a certain color they go when they're nicely steamed and cooked, and that is it. So this is coming off. Our second blend will consist of celery, spring onion, iru, and onions, all going into the processor. Some spring onion, which is actually fresh and a little bit less aggressive than that onion. So we're going to use some spring onion and onion in this one. There we go. And celery. You can use the leaves as well. And finally, my favorite stock cube, some iru. You can't go wrong when you've got this in your food, believe me. So now it's just a matter of, again, closing up and blending. Here we go. Okay, so how do we start this all off with our blend? Starting off with our oniony blend. You can hear that sizzling. And as soon as that hits the oil, wow, what a beautiful smell we're getting there. And we're just starting. Now just add your lovely peppery mix and soothe it all in together like this. Oh, wow. Isn't that beautiful? Lovely sauce, semi-thick going on there. And just before I add the vegetables, I'm going to add a splash of fish sauce. And I'm also going to add a splash of soy sauce as well to umami it up in the absence of protein. Beautiful. And now we can add our lovely peppers. Let's tumble those in colorfully. And you can see how gorgeous that looks. So for the okra to get rid of the slimy parts that people don't like, we're going to put it in this tomato sauce, and that acid from the tomatoes is going to kill the slime. So really we have a sort of African ratatouille, really. And we'll allow that to just simmer for a little while to assimilate with the beautiful sauce. And for our accompaniment, we're washing basmati rice. So for the spiced rice, we've rinsed our basmati and the water is about an inch over the top of the rice, which is my rule of thumb law for any rice really. Cinnamon stick, we're putting in 2 of these. We're putting in cardamom pod. These are also kind of sweet. I'm just splitting these a tiny bit so that the seeds have access to bleeding out their essence in the water. And turmeric, this is going to give the yellow. And I'm just doing a little shaking of that into the rice. And that's going to make our yellow happen. Let's serve this up now with our yellow basmati, crispy fried smoked crayfish, and a palm oil dressing. As an okra skeptic, this is probably the starter dish for you. Nice and easy textures and bold tastes. Ready to give this a try? Okra stew cheers in a different way. You know what I love? I just love the warmth. I love the freshness and the delicious taste of that okra. Beautiful. You have got to try this. Ever had fried okra before? Well, we are making some today in an interesting way, stuffed with coconut and spices, focusing on creating a really cool play on flavor, texture, and always pleasure in every bite. One of the ingredients in this recipe, as I said, is coconut. We will be using the flesh, but not the water. So I thought it might be delightful to start with processing that and show you a quick, refreshing cold drink, which you can make to accompany you as you cook. First things first. The coconut was created with 3 soft eyes. Why? Because they're soft enough to drill through easily with a wine corkscrew. Fancy that. Who knew? Now there's a handy hole out of which will flow the coconut water on tap. No more struggling. Lime and coconut water really go together, and we're just going to give this a swizzle. Smells heavenly. Next, cucumber wedge. Just going to slice a wedge of cucumber like that. And now we can get some ice and assemble. Some ice cubes and a straw. Honey, if you like, or au naturel like me. Yes, let's try this. This is going to be my tipple today in the kitchen. Oh, cheers. Ah, so refreshing. Coconut and lime just go together, don't they? Now you can add a little bit of sugar to this if you like, but I think that there's enough sweetness in that coconut water for me. Cheers again. Lovely. So grate the flesh so you have about half a cup. Life is too short. I've recently discovered to chop onions all the time, so just going to allow my food processor to do that with a little tiny bit of garlic as well in there. So I've got half an onion. I am also taking the most beautiful chili that I can find, like this one. Just chopping the end off it, and that's going in too. Let's choose one of these okras and start preparing them. Just taking the tip off and this little bit here. And what I want to do is slice it open without splitting it completely. So like that. So if you slightly open that, you can see all those seeds in there and some of the flesh. And I'm going to use my knife just to carve out some of the insides, okay? Just the other way, other direction. And you can see out comes this middle bit, leaving us with a cavern which we can stuff. You can also just get rid of those seeds. There you go. And this is where we're going to stuff our lovely mix. So patiently, just do more and more. So that's one.
A labor of true love, but it's going to be oh so good.
So for this delicious mix, we're starting off with a little bit of mustard oil from mustard seed. And when that gets nice and warm, we're going to just add in our simple onion mix into the mustard oil. So this is starting to caramelize nicely the way I need it to. And it's time for us to add some of our spices. Here we go. Starting off with the thyme. Just a little bit of thyme, in that goes. A little bit of turmeric. Let's have a solid pinch, shall we? Love this. Paprika. And look at the colors. And finally, some Cameroon pepper. Just knocked the salt, reminding me that we also need some of that. That's our spicy mix. Just looking so beautiful and autumnal. Smelling stingingly lovely with that pepper. And guess what? Time for us to add the coconut. Half a cup only. And mix this in. How interesting, isn't it? Just having something different. Let's get this toasty. Tearing off some coriander. We love that today, don't we? So nice to use a fresh thing in multiple ways when you can get it.
And stuff your okra one by one. The rest you may be familiar with. We're coating in semolina, then beaten egg, and breadcrumbs before shallow frying. The okra doesn't take too long to cook at all. And here's the beautiful result. Crispy and delicious.
The last item on our menu today is making pickled okra. I know, right? But we love to try new things on Food Journey, and this is one of them. I love pickles, and I will spend time, I assure you, working out what will eventually be served with them. For now, let's try this one together.
The idea of pickling means a complete altering of taste and composition with a vinegar brine. That will be our first step.
Four tablespoons of salt. That's 1. That's 2.
That's 3, and that's 4. And then a tablespoon of sugar. Balancing that out a bit. Let's give this a stir. If you like, you could add things like mustard seed as well, which is fun, but I'm just going to go for my first time with just the clear fluid. Now this will dissolve as it's heated up on the fire. Yes, so we can see now that all our crystals have dissolved nicely, but I still want this to simmer just for a second to be sure. These are just 2 jars that I have left over from whatever else was in them, and I've washed and dried them. So let's go. I'm going to choose a variety. Really, at first I wanted to just go with all the same size, but it's really the luck of the draw in some cases. So here we go. And again, we still have to go through that process of making sure that they're okay, you know. So I'm going to just open the top up there like that, and if I can get my knife through without difficulty, then I know they're all right. Okay, so just doing that for all of these. And then the idea really is that we're going to stack them in here. And I'm really not particular about whether they're all standing up or not, but there are a few other things to add. So halfway through I'm stopping because I would like to put in a chili as well. So here we go. Just going to take the top off of that. See if I can fit the whole thing in there. Yes, measuring I can. So let's just go ahead and make a few slashes down the side so that some of the fluid can get within the pepper as well. And just put that in there too. And continue stacking. So it just means that you've got a variety of things in the jar. If you liked, you could really just go ahead and add some garlic, or you could add a little bit of small onion. See, this one had a little bit of a crispy sound. That one I won't be using. So let's go for the ones that are okay. So just piling them in there. I think I can get a few more in, and I've got an extra jar too to use.
Now, why not play with some tattaché too, to liven up the other jar? Ladle the liquid brine over the okra to the top, and then it's into a boiling pot of water for 10 minutes. Now you have a really cool peppery condiment, which you can serve on the side with your favorite stew. Keep an open mind as a foodie all the time.
What a great experience it has been trying out these okra recipes with you. My objective is always to encourage you to keep a very open mind when you're cooking, because the world is a huge space. Stay blessed, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Food Journey has a new Instagram. It's FOODJERNY @Food Journey. So if you were following us before, please come and follow us here now